Good morning, good morning. Welcome to another Sunday Live, another week. And I can't believe it's almost February, so time has flown by. So hopefully you guys studying has been going really, really well. So welcome to another live stream where we do a 20 question mock test. I do a hazard perception demonstration and answer all your questions about the theory and driving related. So I can hear myself in the background. Let me just pause that. So yeah, if you've got any questions, please type your questions out into the comment sections where I can answer it personal to you and not making it a generic answer across the board. So if you have a personal issue, struggling, theory, driving, ask it. Please put a Q semicolon. I have put it in the comment section. That's not the right one. That's the right one. So Q semicolon, it makes it easier for me to find the question. That way it doesn't get lost in all the comment section. And you won't have to keep retyping it. So let me just get all these windows up so I can see. We are going out live. Right, let me just see who's here. I'll say some good mornings. Racco, good morning. I've not seen you before. Let me go to this one. Sorry. Where are you? It's easier. Let's try that again. Good morning to you. I've not seen your name before, I don't think. So welcome. Again, I've not seen your name before. So again, welcome to you. All these newcomers. I appreciate you guys giving up your Sunday morning when you could be lying into bed. Good morning to you. Good morning. Selena, long time. How are you getting on with your driving? Surely you've got to be close to tests now, haven't you? Have you booked a test date? But yeah, let me know how you're getting on. It's been a long time since we've had a conversation. Good morning. Good morning and welcome to you. All these new names I've not seen before. So all of you guys, good morning to you. And thank you for turning up to the live session. Beverly, how are you? Test is coming up in the next 2 weeks. Again, the next 2 weeks, you've got another Sunday Live. I'm here next week. If you've got any questions, type in the comment section. Let's send you in there. Nice and confident, no doubts. Again, good morning to you. George, I've not seen your name before, so again, I'm assuming. Oh, you do say that. Good morning, I'm new here. Right, hazard perception 65 at 65, that's a high score. And 41, so that's 9 questions wrong. That's going to be about 5 categories, give or take, that you've got wrong. So you've got data, you've taken a test, you know what you've got, which means you also know what you need to work on. So the paperwork they gave you, as you scroll down, it tells you the categories of questions you got wrong. And what you want to do with that is restudy those categories, and then hopefully you get it the next time round. And also now you have an idea of how their questions worded as well. So it gives you a good advantage for the second time round. So I wish you good luck with that. But again, if you've got any questions while you're here, type it in. I can't stress enough, this is what the live session, that's why I go live, because you guys can ask questions in real time and I can answer it for you rather than watching my videos. And if you're stuck on them, you got no one to ask. Because as much as you guys, some of you are typing questions in the comment sections of the YouTube videos, I can't answer this so much. Don't get me wrong, I've seen the questions, but I just haven't got the time to sit down and type out an answer for that. So I appreciate you guys still commenting on the videos, but there's just too many comments for me to keep a tab on. And I can't have a conversation because once I type anything in there, it gets lost and I don't get notified by YouTube that you've replied to that either. So this is the place. Or come to the study camp and we have a conversation there. We had a nice little session yesterday morning, doing some training and going through the Theory Test Pro. I had other students again, which some good results yesterday as well, to be fair. Sorry, I'm losing track. Brilliant. I'm glad you passed. Congratulations on passing. Not seen your name before. So again, thank you for coming to the live. You don't know how much it means that you guys are coming to the live and saying that you're passing or saying you're failing, because it means I need to just do a little bit more to get you guys across the line. But thank you for coming to the live and letting me know. I appreciate it. That the efforts are paying off. Good morning to you. I've not seen your name before, so again, welcome. Good morning. Test in March. Wow, just literally around the corner, because it's February the week after next. So yeah, and February's a short month. So, how you feel roundabout? How you feeling about it? Where you taking, Celine? Just out of interest, where are you taking your test? Which test center? You're new here. All right. All these good mornings. How many of you are here? Wow, 50 people are here already, and we're not even 10 past 10 yet. Thank you so much for being here. I got my reset in 30 hours. Well, I wish you luck with getting come back on the 30th. And by the way, I have brilliant. 30th at the end of the month, isn't it? 5 days away. Sorry, let me just check when my students have got their test this week. Yeah, Friday, 30th. My students got their test on Friday as well, so I wish you luck with that. Please come back next Sunday and let us know how you got on. Got 49 out of 50, just missed the magical 50 by 1. Well done to you. And 56 out of 75, well done. You are welcome. Thank you very much. Good morning. Tracy, good morning. Test is tomorrow. I wish you luck with that. Please come back next week. Let us know how you got on. Right, so let me do a quick overview as I always do, because I never seen that you guys know how the theory tests work. Because some of you, the message that I get in email, taking tests and they didn't know it was 50 questions, blah, 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 and I don't understand how you're studying and didn't know that. I did revise a lot already, so I'm good. Okay, brilliant. I don't even have the motivation to go for that test again. You must have, because you're here on a Sunday live. On a Sunday morning, you're here on a live theory training kind of thing. So you've got the motivation, you just don't recognize that. I wouldn't give up, and I'll tell you why. Because at some point, 5 months, 6 months, a year down the line, you're going to want your driver's license and you're going to come back. And then when you come back, it's going to be even harder. So what I would do is, as much as you may not feel motivated, I would still keep going. And I'll tell you why. I've seen it too many times when students come to my course. I had one not last week, 2 weeks ago. He's now 37. He started to learn at 17, couldn't do it. Didn't bother. 20 years later, he's coming back now when it's a lot harder to do it because he needs his driver's license for work. And that's the difference. My advice, if you guys are on this journey now, see it through. Whether you use the license or not, it's irrelevant, because when you do want to use it, you can always take refresher lessons, because it's only going to get harder. The DVSA is doing lots of stuff behind the scenes and they're only going to make it harder for you guys. So my advice on your journey now, see it through. And even if you don't use the license, at least you know you got it for when you want it. But coming back 2-3 years from now, it's only going to be a lot harder. So that's my advice to you guys. All right, let me do the overview first, and then you're welcome. Bromley Test Centre. Roundabouts. Sorry, I lost your comment. It's on screen anyway. Test, I'm going through hesitation. That's common with learners. Understanding the right of way is just give way to the right. Roundabouts are junctions. That's how you have to look at it. Especially mini roundabouts. That's how I teach my students. If you think about a crossroads, you have to look left, right, and straight ahead at a crossroads. You look in 3 directions. All of a mini roundabout is just a junction being converted into a roundabout. So it simplifies it. So you look to the right to start off with. And just the question I always say to my students is ask this: is it safe to go? Because if you can get the brain to answer yes or no in a short space of time, that makes life a lot easier. So always say to yourself, even giveaway lines, not just roundabouts, is it safe to go? If you get a yes, you go in. If it's a no, obviously you stay put. If it's a don't know, that's a no, don't go. That's where your basic starts from. Just ask yourself, is it safe to go? Not can I go, is it safe? And then build it from there. But like I said, roundabouts are mainly junctions being converted. It makes life a lot easier when you're just looking in one way, i.e. to start off with the right. And as you get more confident, you start to look at other exits as well. So, and if I don't know what you're doing, if you're doing a manual, automatic. If you're doing a manual, you want to be prepped, i.e. biting point. And if you're doing automatic, you're laughing, just squeeze the gas and away you go. But yeah, let me do the overview. First and foremost, get rid of this. I don't know why this doesn't disappear. Right, multiple choice, 50 questions. You, just in case you don't know, the theory test is made up of 14 different categories. And the 50 questions is taking out questions from those different categories. I'm gonna say every live, because it keeps coming up, students failing, but when I went there, the questions were different. Yes, they're gonna be different. Why? Because the apps you are using, it doesn't make a difference what app you are using. They are sampled question teasers to let you have an idea of how the real test is worded. When you go for the real test, the questions are gonna be worded slightly differently. And there's going to be questions you've never seen before. The apps only have 770 odd questions. In the real test, they got about 1,500 in the database to choose from. So they're going to be questions that you have never seen before. So be prepared for that. And also when you go, it's a random test. What I mean by that, if there's 10 of you in the room at the same time, it's 10 different tests, 50 questions for everyone, but everybody's test is structured differently. So you may get 5 road signs. The person next to you may only get 2 road signs. And that's why you need to understand each category, because you don't know where those questions are going to come from, especially if it comes from a weak category that you already have. Time. 57 minutes to do the test, which is more than enough time. Some of you guys are still doing it in 25 minutes, coming out, failing, wondering why. I studied. You doing a test in 25 minutes and having a positive result is going to be slim, because you need to work out what they are saying and the understanding behind it, especially if it's a question you have never seen before. Use a bit of common sense in some of them. I'll give you one that's coming up regularly in the study camp. Drive, how would you avoid wheel spin on ice and snow? And the answer is drive slowly in a high gear. Everybody's missing slowly. Think about, if you're walking in ice and snow, would you run or would you walk slowly? And the answer is walk slowly. Sometimes you can use your life experience to try to relate it to driving. You would not be walking fast or running in ice and snow. You would walk slowly, so you drive slowly. It doesn't change. That's what I mean by using a little bit of common sense on the question, because some of them are just literally common sense. You don't have to have driving experience behind it. Hazard perception, which is everybody's nightmare. 14 videos, 13 of them have single hazards, which means you can score a maximum of 5. One of them's got a double. Score 2 separate 5s. You need 44 to pass on that. And your average has to be 3 across the board. And I'll do a demonstration to show you how to beat the system on that when that comes around. What are you looking for in terms of answers? Safety. Your driving test is about safety and control. That's what the examiner looks for. The theory test is no different. They're looking for a safe outcome. If it's not related to safety, then it's going to be a controlled outcome, i.e. stay to the left all times when on a motorway, for example. That's a controlled outcome, not a safety thing. So that is it. If you are struggling with your theory and you need help, I do run a study camp. Like I said, we do a live session, 2 live sessions a week now, training, where I review your mock test results or category results, because I can see it, because you're registered on my Theory Test Pro account, which allows me to see how long you studied for, the questions you got wrong. So we do 1 in a week, which is on a Wednesday, and we do 1 on a weekend, which was yesterday, for a couple of hours, where we just done a group session. And you have access to the live training sessions every week. When I say every week, they're 4 days, Monday to Thursday, 4:30 to 6:30, where I break everything down in terms of categories over the days as well. So it's useful because, like I said, it's live, it's interactive, and I'm monitoring you as well. And we work out a schedule when to book your test. So if you are struggling, that's where you need to be, rather than sending me emails. Right, let's catch up with this. I don't know if I said hello to Tracy, but there's no harm saying it again. Good morning, Tracy. Heartbroken, got 42, multiple choice, 63 has perception. Wow, score 42, so 8 questions wrong. Similar to what I say to everyone, just short. I know it's gutting. I always say to my students, if they do miss it by a couple, feel sorry for yourself for 24 hours, just get back on it. While the information is still fresh, just get back on it. As much as it's disappointing, use it as a positive. I'll get it next time. Good morning to you, Irene. 46 out of 50, well done. 55 out of 75 the first time. Thank you so much. You are welcome. Again, thank you for coming to the live and letting me know. Because I've not seen your name before, so you're breaking the silence and I appreciate that. Again, Maxwell, good one. Again, 45, 63, thank you so much. You, again, welcome. Not seen your name before, so again, I've got to say welcome to you guys. Yeah, keep going. Don't give up. Come to the lives and I'll keep you motivated. Yes, the videos are supposed to be used in conjunction with the app because nothing's going to be a mock test. Mock test gives you what I call data. So if you're getting questions wrong, you know what questions you're getting wrong. Again, I don't know about the other apps because I only recommend the 4-in-1. I'm not saying the other apps are bad, but I just recommend the 4-in-1 drum test because it tells you your strengths, your strongest category, weakest category. So my videos are to be used in conjunction with a app. So don't neglect that because you do need to make sure the learning's taking place. Highway code is part of the learning, but if that was me studying now, I couldn't do the highway code because I'm visual. As much as the highway code's got some pictures in it, books don't do it for me. It's got to be video. I'll be watching videos and I would be doing the app because it changes. That makes sense. I couldn't sit there and watch reading a book. But I'm not saying don't read the highway code. Everyone's different. But for me, with my dyslexia, it wouldn't help me at all. Well done to you. Congrats. 47 out of 50. 61 as a perception. Well done. Usman, thank you for coming to let me know. All right. Tyrone, good morning to you. Right, let me start this mock test because that's why you guys are here, not to listen to me yap. I love that. Morning, future driving fan. Welcome to you. I've not seen your name before, so definitely welcome to you. Happy morning. Right, share screen would help. Right, for those of you that are new, what we do is read the question. Which colour follows the green signal at puffing crossing? This is A, this is B, this is C, this is D. Please put the question number and then whatever one you think it is. If you think it's a flashing green, put 1A. The reason why, because there's a delay between me and YouTube, you and YouTube. So when you guys type it in, I want to make sure we're on the same question because there's some of you, I've got a slow internet and sometimes we're on the next question and you're answering the previous question. So please put the question number. I like to show all the answers where possible because you have taken the time to type in. And remember, if you've got a question, please type it in the comment section. Sorry, that's the wrong one. My fault. That's the one I'm looking for. So I can do this. Live for the second time. I won't say long may it continue because I want you to pass your theory test and go off. But yeah, keep coming back until you pass. Good morning to you. That's what you need to do. Memorizing is not a good thing. It's a bad thing to a point, considering they reword the question and change some of the wordings and new questions. If you understand the question, it doesn't make a difference how they spin it. You understand it, so you know what the new answer. You know what the answer is. The reason I'm saying new because I'm a new driver. Gladys, welcome. What's the issue that you have with them? I'm going to put this up because I know we're on the first question, but please type the question number, just like Cherise has. I've got a D here. I've got a C. It's interesting. You guys do not agree. Yeah, again, some of you are not putting a question number. Like I said, I'll pull it up because I know we're on the first one. But once we get to number 2, if it hasn't got the number, I can't show it because I don't know what you're answering. It looks like B is the common answer. But you guys are confused with that. No problem, you're welcome. Interesting. Right, what's the question? Which colour follows the green signal at path and crossing? Which colour follows? Right, let me give you a little tip on this. With images, I always suggest that you go from bottom to top. It makes life a lot easier to understand it. So if you're going from the bottom to the top, I can't actually draw on screen because it won't allow me to draw. You start at the bottom is green, amber, red, steady amber, red. And then when it comes down as a double. So it comes down as red and amber, then green. So if you know that goes up in single colors, that's why you go from bottom to top. So it goes up as a single color, green, steady amber, red, comes down as a double. So if the question here, which color follows the green signal at path and crossing, it goes up single. So if it's green, it's steady amber, which is the answer. For those of you put C and D, flashing amber's pelican, first of all. That's a puffing crossing, and no matter what, anyway, whether it was a pelican, it's still going up, so it's still going to be steady amber. It comes down as a flashing amber, and steady red. You can't go from green to red on a traffic light, so that's the reason why it's definitely B. You're looking for somewhere to safely park your vehicle. Where would you choose to park? I'm getting all the questions correct on the app. Yes, they're slightly different. Like I said, the app is only sampled questions. The DVSA gives us those questions to release to you guys so you get a taster of what it's like, so you can start to study it and understand the question. That's what I say, understand it. So when you go for the real test, when it's worded differently, the understanding's there. So passing shouldn't really be of an issue. But the questions will be different. I will also add, as much as you getting the questions right on the app, sometimes it just gets to the stage where, because the same questions over and over, depending how often you're studying, you just kind of know the answers to the question. And sometimes, not deliberately, it's like memorizing it. Because if you see something again and again and again and again, you just know what the answer is. So be very careful. Just because you get in X on the apps, it doesn't mean to say you're going to get X on the real test. And that's the reason why I say to students, again, I do this in the study camp, it's a 30-day study camp, because 30 days is a sweet spot. If you're going 2 months, 3 months studying, at some point, if you're doing it the right way studying, you're going to cover every question on the app. So the questions just become ingrained in you. So you're not really learning anymore. You just know the answer. And there's no more questions to be gotten out there, because like I said, those are the official questions. So ideally, you want to do your theory test within 4 weeks of starting to study. So it's kind of still fresh, if that makes sense. We're not seeing question after question, the same question after question. So 30 days is kind of like the sweet spot. But some of you always say, I'm not ready, I don't feel ready, blah, blah, blah. And then 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. You're memorizing answers after that. What are we on to? I've still got ones coming in. Someone's got answer C. Like I said, if you don't put a question number, I have no idea what that's related to, whether it's number 1 or number 2. Because I've got ones coming in still here. Good morning to you. It looks like you guys all agree on this one. It's all C's. You are welcome. What is the speed limit of car and lorry on a bridge? Let me come back to that, because that's an open question. There's no answer to that. 2C is what you guys are going for. We'll see. Yeah, that's the only one that can be safe. Where would it be unsafe to overtake? So let me come back to that question. What is the speed limit of a car and lorry on a bridge? There's no way of answering that. I don't know where you got that question from, or you're just asking that in general. I'll tell you why there's no way of answering it. Because it depends on the road you're on. If you're going over a bridge on a dual carriageway or a motorway, it's going to be 60 on a dual carriageway, 70 for a car. It's still 60 for a lorry. Just because you're going over a bridge, it doesn't change anything. If it's on a single carriageway, it's 60 for a car, 50 for a lorry. If it's a built-up area, it's 40 miles an hour for both. So you got to ask yourself, what road are you driving on? And then put the speed limit to it. But if you just ask me this an open question, I can't answer that because I don't know what road the bridge is on. Going over a bridge doesn't change the speed. I've got a C here. But the common answer is a B. Again, some of you still not putting the question number. I'm just seeing letters flashing up. Where are we with this one? Right, 3B. Approaching a junction. Let's go for that one. Well, someone said a C. I'm sure there was a C here. On a one-way street, you can overtake on a one-way street. It's one way. Everyone's going the same way. A junction is where cars can pull out on you. That's why it's unsafe. The key there is unsafe. This is safe, and traveling up a long hill is safe. You're approaching a roundabout. Oh, Selena, roundabout. What should you do if there are horses being ridden in front of you? Remember, if you guys got questions about your driving lessons, driving tests that's coming up, theory tests, I will answer that as well. Because I know I'm getting emails as well about driving lessons. The other thing I will say with driving lessons, if you're not happy with the instructor, I know they're hard to find out there nowadays, but if you're not happy with the instructor, you can change them. You don't want to be going to a lesson where you feel miserable. You should be... Driving is stressful as it is. That environment in that car should be fun, to be fair, but not every instructor has got a funny mentality, but a sense of humour, shall I say. But they shouldn't be that strict where they're making you feel uncomfortable, making you feel nervous, making you feel panic, making you feel like you don't want to go to a driving lesson. You should be wanting to go to that driving lesson because your instructor is making you feel good about it. So like I said, you are paying for a service. If you're not happy with the service, change it. But ideally, you should have a little bit of fun on your driving lessons. I got C. I got 4A, 4C. Okay. So just like C. It's the obvious choice. Again, some of you just put in C's on there. I don't know if that's the last question of this question. Please put the question number, just like SJ Dancing has done. Welcome to you. Just the number and the letter. For C, what are we talking about? You're approaching a roundabout. What should you do to the horses? For C, give them, yeah, give them. It's always going to be give them plenty of room. And if they ask you what type of speed you should go past, this is for the real test, not on the app. They don't ask you on the app. 10 to 12 miles an hour or slowly. They can word it either way on the test. So 10 to 12 miles an hour past a horse. And it's definitely slowly, so not to spook them. Well, lots of words. Your vehicle has stalled in the middle of a level crossing. What should you do if the warning bell starts to ring while you're trying to restart the engine? I would need more clarity on the Pelican and Puffin crossing. What clarity do you need? The lights are the same. Pelican is flashing. Pelican has flashing sequence. So when it's coming down from red, it's flashing amber. Puffin, when it's come down, it's red and amber. And puffins are sensors. There's cameras there. So it's a censored crossing. Where Pelican, someone has to push the button for it to work. So Pelican has a flashing amber sequence, and Puffin follows a traffic light sequence. Unless you want more clarity, you need to write it down exactly what you're looking for. I'm writing my theory test on the 4th of Feb. And that will be my 4th time. I'm just tired. First of all, if you're taking that would be my 4th time. So that means you've taken it 3 times previously. So what you want to be doing is asking yourself, first of all, what scores are you getting? That's what, if you was my student, that's what I'd be asking. And then if it's in the 40s, all of them, then I'd be asking, how come you are not getting more than 40? Because there's a reason for it. If you're getting in the 30s on all 3 of the tests, it's lack of knowledge. Because if you studied for it and getting 30s, there's a lack of knowledge. That's why when you go into the real test and the questions worded differently, you don't understand it, hence why the score's low. So the first thing I would be asking is, what scores are you getting? Then the second thing is, put all the paperwork together, the 3 paperwork they gave you, pull it together and see if there's a common denominator of categories you're getting wrong. If there's a common denominator, the answer's there, study those, because obviously you're getting it wrong on every test. If it's different on every test, then it's definitely lack of knowledge. The common reason for failing that amount of times normally is because it's a lack of knowledge. Like I said, as much as you guys are studying, getting questions right on the app and getting decent scores in the app, it doesn't mean that you're understanding it. It just means you recognize the question, you recognize the answer. There's a difference. And that's why that's what I said earlier on, 30 days for studying is the sweet spot. Once you start to get to 6 weeks, 7 weeks and more, you start to recognize the questions, you start to recognize the answers. So the learning stops taking place. But like I said, this is for all of you that's taken a test lots. Ask yourself why you are failing, because you have to look deep within yourself. Because sometimes, like I said, it's not just a simple fact, well, I didn't get the 43 that I needed. Sometimes it's a little bit more than that. Always explore the why. Right, C seems to be the common one. The equilibrium effect. I've not seen your name before, so I like that name. Everyone's going for C. Level crossing broken down. Yeah, of course, get out, safety. What can seriously reduce your ability to concentrate? I will be. I'm not sure what that's referring to, unless I missed a comment somewhere before. Or maybe it's not even to me, maybe it's just a comment for the comment section. Francis, I apologise to you. I'm glad I can do it live on air. I've seen your email. I've just not drafted. I didn't expect that type of email, by the way. So, yeah, I need to... I'll tell you what you can do, because whatever I got to say, the response to email is not going to come across the way it needs to, because it's words. Better still, email me again and give me your phone number, and then we'll talk on the phone, because like I said, that email deserves a bit more response than that, because like I said, I can't put what I need to say into words that's going to make you understand, if that makes sense. So send it. I've got, like I said, your email's flagged. I have seen it, just like I don't know what to say to it. So give me a ring. Send me an email to the student's email that you got, and I will give you a ring next week. I can do it Tuesday because I'm actually off on Tuesday. So if you do it over the weekend, I can actually phone you some Tuesday morning or something like that if you're available. Or best when you email me, let me know when you're available, and then we'll have a conversation on the phone. So like I said, I apologise for it, but like I said, your email was a bit deep. I didn't expect that. I haven't got any visual thing for you to read. When I teach roundabouts, I use my iPad. I got the roundabouts on my iPad, and I break it down for the student. That's the only visual thing I got. There's nothing, because you can read as much as you want. You have to be in a moment. I ain't going to help you, because the only thing that you need to know about roundabouts is the basics: which lane to be on approach, which signal to give on approach, and which way to look on approach. You can read, that's all you need to know. So you reading about roundabouts is not going to change anything. You have to be in the moment. And the iPad, sometimes when I play it out with the cars coming from different directions, the student understands it visually, and then they can go off and apply it. But reading stuff is not going to change the way what you're doing at the moment. You have to be in the moment. Or I don't know what your instructor's using. Is he using diagrams, or is he using apps to help explain it to you? Rachel, welcome. I didn't think you're going to turn up today after yesterday. Answers D is what you lot going for. Yeah, you look like going for D. We'll agree on that one. I think that's a straightforward one, I think. Right, ability to concentrate. Yes, it's going to be drugs. When they're talking about drugs, they're talking about obviously illegal drugs and medication can affect you. Again, read the side effects if you're on medication. So they're not just talking about illegal drugs with that. What's most likely to waste fuel? You're welcome. I will say again, if you guys got questions, type it in. Any concerns, any issues? Like I said, don't just ferry-related driving as well. Because your next step is taking driving lessons. If you haven't started already. 7C. I've got D's now. Right, D. Marvelous George, welcome to you. I've seen your name before. What's most likely to waste fuel? Someone went for C. Reducing your speed. The reason why it's not C, it says what's most likely to waste fuel. Yes, reducing your speed is going to burn fuel, but you're not wasting it because you have to slow down to stop wherever it is you're going to. So you're not wasting it, you're just using it. This is unnecessary. If your tires are flat, then it's going to burn more fuel, so that's wasting it because your tires shouldn't be flat. Why are these yellow lines painted across the road? With images, I always suggest if there's a question image, scan the image, because sometimes there's clues in the image. Not all the time, but sometimes there's clues to the answer. So always scan the images properly and then go to the options. Still got some 7s coming in as well. Here's the first one. Again, I've got a C. How many of you here, just out of interest, have got a test date booked? Just type yes in the comment section if you've got one booked. Because I got a funny feeling most of you here, how many of you here? Almost 100 people. Again, I appreciate you guys being there, by the way. Thank you very much. I guarantee you I don't get 50 yeses. I know some of you have passed, but I guarantee you there's not over half of you have not got a test date booked. Only a handful of you got a test date booked, because you guys are studying until you want to be perfect. That's not what you want to look for. You want to get a consistent mock test result and then go and take it. Or book a test and work towards it. Because when there's no deadline, we had this conversation yesterday in this training session. When there's no deadline, you can just go and go and go. And before you know it, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months have passed. Welcome to you. Not seen your name before, can't pronounce your name, but welcome. I've got me. I did. Me too. Right, let me just answer this question. What guys B is what you're going for? Yeah, these are called rumble strips. So the yellow lines are painted slightly higher than the tarmac. So when you drive over, the car rumbles. If it's a smooth rumble, then your speed's fine. If it's a violent rumble, then you're too fast. But they're called rumble strips. The road outside of this school is marked with a yellow zigzag lines. What do these lines mean? So I've got tomorrow. Wish you luck with that. Please come back next week. Let us know how you get on with it. But again, type in that question before you go. Tomorrow again, I wish you luck. Fingers crossed for you. Actually, I know you got one booked. We had a discussion yesterday. Seventh of February, just around the corner, 2 weeks away. 2nd of February is a week and a bit of this Monday week. It's my birthday. 2nd, so I wish you luck with that. I have no idea what you're talking about. Please clarify if you want to answer. We're on number 9, so you haven't missed 9 questions outside of that, plus the conversation. Tomorrow morning. Wow, Tracy, wish you luck. No, not yet. I passed already, but I'm loving. But love, refreshing, brilliant. And thank you for coming. Next test is March. Okay, there's quite a few of you. I'll come back to that. All right. If you haven't got a date booked, I would suggest booking one and then work. Be realistic. And like I said, especially if you're just starting, don't go and book one for next week, but be realistic. 3 weeks away, 4 weeks away, and work towards it. If you're not ready, because by committing to a date, you've got a deadline, so you tend to work hard and more structured. And if you're not ready, keep an eye on the cancellation days, 3 working days beforehand, and then just cancel it. You don't lose your money. But like I said, some of you are studying aimlessly without a date. So like I said, 2 weeks becomes a month becomes 2 months. And what you don't want to do is be here in the summer still studying for the theory when you can get on with your life and pass your driving test. Especially if the DVSA do what they want to do, bring that waiting time in for the amount of lessons that you've got to have as well. You don't want to be doing that. March the 14th. Go for 9A. But I wish you, all of you that's got a test date booked, I wish you the best of luck with that. 4th of Feb. That's, like I said, 2 weeks away, basically. 17th of February. And these tests are just literally around the corner. Because like I said, Monday week is February. 16th of Feb. Alright, what's most of you are gone for a 29th. That's literally Thursday, I believe. Oh, that's all it's. It is a. You're driving on a wet road. What should you do if you have to stop your vehicle in an emergency? March the 3rd. I tested on the 26th of February. This is what I was saying. I can't remember who it was I was saying this to. If you're studying and you got 35 out of 50, it's 15 questions wrong. 15 questions, that would give you roughly about 9 categories wrong. So look on your paperwork and you've got a long list of categories you've got wrong. That's a lack of knowledge, by the way. You don't say when the last test was, so hopefully you've put some work in to fill in the gaps in your knowledge. And hopefully you're 26, because you're 26 February is also literally a month, we're 25th today. So it's literally about 4 weeks away. So you've got time, 30 days, sweet spot, to restudy and get that score up. But 35 on a real test with studying behind you is a lack of knowledge. 6th of Feb. I appreciate you guys typing in. Let me know when you got your test in. I don't do percentages, but 96% is a high score. But if last test, I can't answer that. I'll tell you why, because it's where you worded that. The last test I did using the Ferry Test app, I got 96%. If I get around that much 3 times in a row, should I book my exam? If you do the test again 3 times in a row, you can get similar questions, so it could be misconstrued of that you are getting questions right. That makes sense, because sometimes the app just throws up the same questions, the same answer that you had previously. So it doesn't mean say you learned anything new. You're just getting the same question you got before right. So that I can't answer. I don't know what you've studied in categories. I don't know what scores you're getting. Because you said you got 96%, and then if you do it 3 times in a row, should you book? What did you get before the 96% would be my argument. And now if you was passing before the 96% on a regular basis, then the 3 times in a row afterwards doesn't matter. Then book your test. But that's the first time you got 96, and then you're going to do it 3 times after. Like I said, I don't know what you did previously, what your scores was previously. Like I said, if the app's throwing up the same questions, same answers, then it's giving you a misleading score. Tomorrow morning, I wish you luck with that. What are we on 10? So now they're coming in. I got 10C, 10D, 10Ds, 10B. This is a typo. So it looks like D is the correct answer because it's common. Oh, got a C there as well. A. I was just about to say we haven't got an A, got a full house now. A, B, C, D. So 2nd of February again, Monday week. Yes, it's just a car ferry, unfortunately, yeah. I would suggest, if you've got the 4-in-1 app, go to the settings and change the questions to motorbike. Some of the questions here would be similar to the motorbikes, but you really want to do the motorbike one. So just change the settings on the app. Right, D is the common answer. Let's say you're driving on a wet road, what should you do? Give an arm signal. It's never going to be A because you're stopping the car. When they say an emergency, that means someone's pulled out in front of you. They don't tell you that. But in an emergency, someone's pulled out in front of you or someone's run out in front of you. You're never going to give an arm signal. Obviously, reverse doesn't make sense. Apply the parking brake and foot brake together. You never do that because your parking brake suggests you're putting the foot brake on at the same time. You never use the parking brake and foot brake at the same time while the car's in motion. So it's going to be keep both hands on the steering wheel because when you brake in an emergency, all the weight goes to the front wheels. And that's the reason why you need to keep your hands on the steering wheel to keep it controlled, just in case you skid as well because it says it's wet. What could the cost of your insurance, when could the cost of your insurance be reduced? I love that. Wishing someone else luck. Right, let me see if there's some comments. Let me get for today's. Please explain the term smart motorway? Smart motorway is digital information for drivers. Some of them don't have hard shoulders, and that's when they can show you different signs. You know, the red X, the 50, the arrow facing to the left. That's what smart motorway. Smart motorway is digital information for drivers. And smart motorways, and some of them don't have hard shoulders. It depends how they want to ask you the question. But that's all smart motorways. They can change the speed limit live while you're driving by putting it above your lane. I've got 42 multiple choice twice now. It's frustrating. Again, if you're getting the same scores, there's a reason why you're getting the same score because you're not learning from the previous mistakes. So that's what I'm trying to say to you guys. If you're getting the same, going for a test, getting 41, 42s, and you're staying kind of consistent every time you do that, even when you're doing the mock test, it's because you're not learning from the mistakes you made previously. Because if you're learning from the mistakes, you build on the score. It doesn't stay the same. It doesn't go backwards. So there's still a lack of understanding there. If you got 2 tests, you say 2? Yeah, so you're taking it twice. So you got 2 pieces of paperwork. Look at them and see what the common denominator is. If there is one. One mistake can fail if you don't choose correctly. That's not true. If you make 1 mistake, you get 49. If you make 2 mistakes, you get 48. What fails you is a lack of knowledge. So don't think about 1 mistake is going to cost you. Even if you make a mistake in the hazard perception, you get a 0. You still can pass. So it's not 1 mistake is costing you. For you to fail, you're talking about making 8 mistakes. That's 42. And if you're making 8 mistakes, that means you're not making a mistake. You just don't understand what the 8 questions were. It is possible to click the wrong answer sometimes. I get that, but you shouldn't be clicking the wrong answer 8 times. Always going to be nervous. That's life. I always say to the students, don't let the nerves control you. If you're not nervous, there's something wrong. It means it's probably not important to you. The nerves is natural. just don't let the nerves control you. That's why you need the knowledge before you walk in, so you're confident. When I get check tested, as instructors, we have to be check tested. So when the examiner sits in the back of my car and watch me teach, I get nervous. But I know my stuff because I've been doing it for years. So him sitting in the back of the car doesn't bother me, but I'm still nervous. I just don't let the nerves control me. So nerves is not a bad thing, just don't let it control you. So let me go back to these first 11 we're on. Let me find the 11s. I've got the 9s in front of me. Here we go, found them. So it keeps jumping for some reason. Hold on, 1 second. Where are you? Right, there we go. Right, you guys are going for A, common answer, so I've got to assume that's correct. C. And someone else has gone for a C as well. C. Interesting. All right, let's take a look at these. A, B's, and C's came up. When could the cost of insurance be reduced? A. Pass plus. It's extra training after you pass your driving test. It should incorporate 6 hours. It should incorporate motorway driving, nighttime driving, adverse weather. Because you're taking extra lessons after you pass your driving test, there's no test at the end of this either. You're a better driver. So because you're a better driver, you're less risk of having an accident. And that's why your insurance could be reduced. When you pass your driving test first time, just because you pass it first time or fifth time doesn't make you a better driver. Just means you can handle your nerves better. When you're under 25, your insurance is going to be the highest. It's normally from 17 to 25, then it starts to go down slightly after, providing you haven't made lots of claims. When you do not wear glasses, that's got nothing to do with it. Because if you're wearing glasses, it means you can see where you're going, so less risk. So some people not wearing glasses can't see the required distance, so that's why it's not these answers. This is what I was talking about. Someone asked about smart motorways. So it shows signs like this on a motorway. That's why it's smart, because they can change the signs at any time. What does this motorway sign mean? I can drive already. I have a full Jamaican license. That doesn't mean you can drive. What that means is you can drive without supervision. Having a full driver's license, not in any country, it doesn't mean that you can pass a UK driving test. There's a difference. The amount of students I've taught who's got a full license in their country, so they can drive on an international license for a year, and it's been frightening, to be fair. So just because you've got a full Jamaican license and you can drive, it doesn't mean say you can pass the UK driving test. There's a difference. So be very careful with that. If you can drive already, I'm assuming you're here to pass the ferry test and get a UK license. What I would do once you pass the ferry test, get an instructor to give you an assessment, and they can tell you the stuff that you need to work on to pass this driving test, because technically you're going to have bad habits. If you're before the 96, if you're getting the 90%, then you're good to go based on your stats. Hand signals are very minor. There's only 3 hand signals to know. There's no guarantee you're going to get hand signals. You're not going to get 7 of them to fail you on the ferry test. So I wouldn't stress over that. I'll just book it. And while your date's coming, you can work on your hand signals. Don't wait to do the hand signals now and then book. Go and book it, and then while the time's coming, do your hand signals. Good, you've done the right thing. So you feel prepared. Again, if you've got any questions, type it in before you go in. So you've already taken it, you know how it works. So fingers crossed, you'll get that 46, 47. That's going to give you that breathing space over that 42. But it seems like you've done the work, because you said you focus on the weak points, which is what you should be doing. So well done. And come back next week and let me know. But find it difficult in England with this DVLA test. Pass mark has to be 43. Hazard 44 is just confusing. What's confusing? I'm not understanding that. Just give me a bit more background information on that. I'm not understanding what's confusing. Oh, here we go. Should be focused more on practical instead of the theory, except mark 43. Let me come back to that. Number 12. Let me just find these 12s. And they're all going for B, so. Ooh, someone's gone for a C there. Right, I got to assume B is correct. It's got 50 in it. Just in case you didn't know, the amber lights are temporary and advisory, just in case they ask you what the amber lights mean. Again, they don't ask you about the amber lights on the real test, I believe. I say it's not the real test, on the mock test on the apps, but on the real test, they can ask you what the amber lights mean, which is temporary and advising you to do 50 miles an hour. So there you go, temporary maximum speed 50. And that's why I said read, so because someone went for C, I'm assuming that's a mistake, as in a typo. That can happen in your test, but it shouldn't happen 8 times to fail, because you've got minimum and you've got maximum. And that's why I suggest you read the question answers very, very carefully. What restrictions apply to people who have a provisional driver's license? So let me tackle this now. What was the question? DVLA should focus more on the practical instead of the theory. That doesn't make sense. I'll tell you why, because there's lots of people out there driving. I'll give an example if you want, and you can test it out. You're studying for the theory now. You must know people who can drive. You go and take just 10 questions and ask them 10 questions from the theory test, and I guarantee you those qualified drivers will not know half the answers. They'll be lucky to get 5 out of 10 on that. If you give them a test of 50 questions, they'll be lucky to probably get 30 out of that. The reason for that is because students are passing the theory test, for example, trying to memorize the answers. Some of them are memorizing answers and scraping the 43s, 44s. Now, when they go into the car, they have no idea what the road markings mean, what traffic lights mean, or the rules to the road. Because I get them in my car and I've now got to pull them over the side of the road and explain stuff to them, even though they've passed their theory test. Passed their theory test. So that's the reason why the theory is important, because you want to apply it to the driving so you understand what stuff means. There's people on there asking about clarification of pelican crossings and puffin crossings, stuff like that. You need to know those lights, because you need to make that decision while the car's driving. So if you're driving and you see a steady amber, you need to know what colour it's going to, because if you go for the brakes when you shouldn't do, then the person behind is going to crash into the back of you. That's the reason why they're doing the theory, because the theory helps the practical. That's the reason why behind it. And trust me, I've seen that change, because I've been instructor for 30 years and there was no theory test when I started instruction. And there's massive improvements over the years with the driving once the theory came in. Because like I said, most students who do it seriously understand it. They get in a car, they understand stuff. 13. What's the first one? C, got a D. And the other thing I will add, when you guys pass the theory test, not just you, most drivers, once you pass the theory test and then pass your driving test, you don't pick up a book again. So the highway code changes every 2 years, or gets updated every 2 years. You guys won't not pick up a book again. That's why I said with experienced drivers, they won't know the answers because things have changed from the time they passed. So they're hoping that your knowledge stays strong and that covers you for the next 3-4 years while you got that experience. And also, it's not going to do you any harm. Think about it. Study, understand it. Appreciate that. No problem. No problem. You pass it, you study, understand it, you're going to pass anyway. And then when you go for your driving lessons, you're saving time because your instructor won't have to pull you at the side of the road to explain stuff you already know. So you're getting more driving time. So it's a win-win. But if you don't study enough and scrape it, then it's going to be a loss for you when you come for your driving test at some stage. Sorry, I've got D's and B's on there. Let me just double check what you guys are going for. D's, common answer. Who have a provisional driver license. Nope, they need a experienced driver next to them. You're driving a car fitted with a driver drowsiness detection. When will your car alert you to take a break? That's weird, really weird. Well, you've done the right thing. 39. I've studied. I have another on the 19th. I wish you luck with that on the 19th. The other thing I will say, you've done the right thing. Let me just say that first. So congratulations to you by going off and doing the categories. I've seen this and hear this a lot. I've studied all the categories. Just because you studied the categories, it doesn't mean to say you understand the questions and answers. And I'm going to tell you why. Because like I said, there's only 700 and something questions. So if you do all the categories, you've seen all the questions before. So if you studied for a long time, you're going to see questions coming again and again and again. Because this is why I'm saying be very careful with that. As much as you're getting 45, the question is, how come you're not getting 50? So you're still getting 5 questions wrong. So like I said, just be careful with what you guys say. I've studied all the categories, I'm getting 45, blah, 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 as if to say, well, that's good to go, I'm going to pass. Just remember, you should be getting 50 out of 50. I'm not saying you have to get 50 out of 50. If you fully understand it, you're getting 50 out of 50. So by getting 5 wrong, you're still getting a weakness in your knowledge. That's all I'm saying. Because when you go for the real test, it's going to be worded differently. So if you're getting 5 questions wrong, let's just say those 5 questions you're getting wrong comes up on the real test, you get them wrong. So you're down to 45. Now, if you get questions that's worded differently and you're not sure, that can take you down to below the 43 mark. So just be careful when you guys say, I've studied all the categories and I'm passing. Because if you're not getting 50 out of 50, that shows there's still a doubt in the way you're answering questions. So just be very, very careful with your thought process, is what I'm trying to say in a long-winded way. After documents, is it possible you can do some of the hand signals ones, such as the lollipop lady ones? I'm not understanding what you mean by after the documents. Just give me a bit more insight. Are you asking, can you do that? Are you asking me to do that? Just give me a little bit more insight into that question. It just says, after documents, is it possible you can do some of the hand signal ones, such as the lollipop lady ones? Just give me a bit more background on what you're asking there, sorry. 14. going for A. Oh, someone's gone for a B there. And the A and the B. No problem. Like I said, you're doing the right thing. Just to be careful with your wording, because like I said, if you're not getting 50 out of 50 all the time, which I know is not always possible, if you watch my videos, even though when I do the mock test on the videos, I still get a question wrong. It happens. But like I said, there's got to be a doubt if you're getting 45s on a regular basis. Just don't go in the real test thinking you've nailed it, because complacency can play a part in you failing as well. Sorry, A was a common answer, but some of you are going for B. You're driving a car. Drowsiness is a form of tired, and it's got tired. I don't know if you can see it here. Sometimes there's clues in the question. So the key here is drowsiness, and then you got tired in the answer. Again, it doesn't always work, but you have to think, hold on a minute, there's a connection between the two. It's never going to be B. After driving without a break for 4 hours, you shouldn't be driving with 4 hours. Again, on the real test, they can ask you how often should you take a break. It's every 2 hours, after every 2 hours of driving. And how long for? 15 minutes, just in case that question comes up on the real test. So take a break after every 2 hours of driving, and it should be a minimum of 15 minutes. Why should you switch off your rear fog lights when the fog has cleared? I've got my theory test on the 11th of February, which is about 3 weeks away, give or take. I have not done any revisions. The question is, why did you book one? Should I rebook it or do 2 hours of learning every day? I can't answer that. I don't know what type of learner you are. I will say this though, again, this comes up in our training sessions when we do the study camp. 2 hours is too long in studying. I'm going to tell you why. Think about the real test, the theory test. Governments, they would have done their training, work out what a pupil can handle and can't handle. Their theory test is 57 minutes, which is 3 minutes short of an hour. So what they're saying to you is your brain can only cope with 57 minutes of studying. Why would you want to do 2 hours a day for training? The students that come in to my sessions on the weekdays, Monday to Thursday, it's a 2 hour session. My training lasts for 57 minutes to an hour, give or take how many questions. So even though it's a 2 hour session overall, we take a break of 10 minutes because I know the brain can only last for 57 minutes to an hour. That's the 45 minutes to an hour. My students know what I'm talking about. 45 minutes to an hour on average is the sweet spot. Once you start going over the hour mark, the brain can't take any more information in. Can some people do it? Yes, but the majority of people can't. So even though you're studying, that information is not being retained. The whole point of studying is to retain info, not just reading. You have to remember the stuff. So when it comes up in a different way, you can recall that information. 2 hours a day, and plus the pressure of trying to get ready for 11th of November is too much. But like I said, I don't know you, so only you can answer that. But the question I would be asking is why you book a test with no revision. Oh, there's a follow-up here, sorry. Oh, come on. It's never too late to study. Can you do it? Yeah, because I used to do a 5-day boot camp. My students that I teach, just in case you guys don't know, I'm a driving instructor. I do intensive driving course over 5 days. So my students do 4 hours a day and they come to the study camp and they do their course over 4 days. Do they pass? Yes. But the difference is they are learning to drive at the same time. So they're applying the theory while they're driving. So the driving reinforces the theory reinforces the driving. So they get double bubble in that sense. I don't know, well, you're not taking lessons every day, so it doesn't make a difference. It is possible, but like I said, I don't know you. You have to look at yourself and say, hold on a minute, Is it possible for me to do that? I would study, take a note of the date, 11th of February, 3 working days before that, put that in your diary. And if you don't feel like you're ready before those 3 working days, cancel it. You've got a date set. You can work towards it. It's possible. But it's a lot of work. So my advice to you, I would keep it and study for it. And then just keep an eye on the 3 working days before the 11th to make sure you can cancel that test without losing your test fee. That's what I would suggest you do without knowing you. 15. But that's what I said right at the beginning of the live session. When I do the overview, I don't assume that you guys know how the theory test works, because believe it or not, there's a lot of people out there booking theory tests and haven't started studying for it yet, or know how the theory test really works. They just know they need to do it to get access to pass the driving test. There's a C there. Right, sorry, the average answer is B. Yeah, just in case you didn't know, fog lights are very, very bright. So when it's fog, obviously the fog kills the brightness. So when the fog is cleared, it's bright enough to dazzle. Just in case you don't know, dazzling for the theory test means blinding a driver or pedestrians, because they can word it as a pedestrian as well. You're waiting at a T-junction. What should you do if a vehicle is coming from the right with its left indicator flashing? Always look at the image and then go from there. Bruno, why must one pass for 2 before making progress? Why not rewrite only the one you failed? Because when you drive, you're using the theory and you're using has perception. Just in case you don't know, has a perception when you're doing your videos, clicking your mouse or tapping the screen, is you using your mirrors. It's the equivalent of you using your mirrors. So when you're taking the theory test, it's knowledge. That's what you're going to use when you're driving. When you're driving, you see traffic lights. When you see a traffic light, you're supposed to check your mirrors. That's why the 2 goes hand in hand. So when you're driving, you don't do one without the other. So that's why they want you to pass both parts same day, same time, because you're using both skills while you're driving. Yeah, there you go. Selena was in the boot camp, wasn't he? I think he was, when it started out. And she's still coming back. Like I said, it's down to how you guys want to structure your learning. Pass the theory test, still now and again do the app questions so you can use it for the driving, or once you pass, don't do anything. But like I said, from experience, when you don't do anything and then go to your driving lessons, all that knowledge is forgotten. And as much as I say, like I said, I like to have fun in my car when I'm teaching students. You only have fun when you're driving, as far as I'm concerned. Do I really want to pull up at the side of the road and have a conversation about the theory test, especially when I've got to go home and teach you later on? No, not really. I really just want people to drive, have a little bit of fun with it, learn something from it and go from there. But like I said, if all instructors are the same, all decent driving instructors are the same. If you do something kind of seriously wrong, we have to pull you up and we have to discuss it. We can't let it slide. So if you don't understand certain stuff and you're getting it wrong on a regular basis, you're going to spend most of your time at the side of the road having a conversation about it. That's all I'm saying. Like I said, if you understand it, you drive more. You don't understand it, you're having a conversation in the car. 16. Right, most of you gone for D. Right. D, wait until the vehicle starts. Yes, the reason why? Because a signal means turning left and parking up on the left. If he got it wrong, signal too early and wants to park up here, then you come out in front of him, he's going to crash into you. So always wait for the car to commit to its turn first. Why should you reduce your speed when you're driving or riding in fog? James, I've taken my theory test twice. You've answered why you got the 35. That's the first of all. At least you've been honest, which is a good start. Didn't really study enough. Again, the question you got to ask yourself is why. But hopefully now you've put the work in and hopefully you get the result that you require with that. So I wish you luck with that. 6th of Feb, 2 weeks from now, give or take. I'd like to join the boot camp, please. The boot camp is ceasing. People are still coming through the boot camp. That's not the one I would join. I would join the study camp, 30-day study camp, because of the reason why the boot camp is 1 week of the live sessions of your choice. You start on Monday, finish on Thursday. Down to 4 days now, anyway. Start on Monday, finish on Thursday, and that's your lot. But you still get email support. You still have access to all the videos and the training material inside there. You join the study camp. It's 30-day study camp. You have access until you pass. You can join the live sessions anytime that you want. It runs every single week, so you can join any days that you want. And we do a live group session Wednesdays and one at the weekends. And what we do in that, we look at your scores on Ferry Test Pro and guide you, put a plan in place and work with you to book a test date and go from there. So the study camp is better rather than the boot camp. Like I said, you have that ongoing, and if you fail in a study camp, you come back and we go again. So I'm guiding you, basically, is what I'm saying. I'm showing you exactly all of this, what I'm doing now, I'm showing you on your personal account in Ferry Test Pro. I'll put the link in the description. So the link is there if you want to join the study camp. But that's the one I would join, not the boot camp. Because like I said, I'm going to withdraw the boot camp link once I've got time to go on the videos and remove them. Congratulations on passing 45-63. Well done to you, and thank you for coming to the live and letting me know. I think this is the last comment I've got. Again, silent watcher. Thank you for being here. 21st, that was last week. 43, just about, but give yourself a pat on the back though. Pass is a pass. And 63 has perception. Must be sick of my voice if you never kept watching it. Thank you for the recommendation. I appreciate that. I really do. I wish you luck with the driving side of things. 17. Lots of you typing in. I'm done with it. That's from the first one. Here we go. All A's. Right. A. Yes, more difficult to see, so you want to be driving slower. You're driving in busy traffic. You want to pull up just after a junction on the left. When should you signal? And believe it or not, this is similar to the question that was asked about the T-junction. Like I said, they just worded it slightly differently. It's what they're saying now, you're the car coming from the left rather than you at the junction watching the car coming from the left. And I bet half of you didn't realise that. Like I said, the way they word the question is very subtle. And And that's why I stress again, you need to understand it inside out. How about testing 4 days? Any advice for me? Yes. Keep studying. I would, I don't know, like I said, I don't know you. So if you're doing mock tests, you need to be passing the majority of the mock tests you are taking. You want to look at the answers you're getting wrong. Try to understand why you're getting the wrong answer. Again, that's something that you guys do. You get the wrong answer and you go straight to the right answer on the app. That's the wrong way of learning. You need to understand why you got the question wrong. Because once you understand why, then the brain doesn't pick it again. That's why your scores go up if you studied it in the right manner. But if your score stays the same, you're not studying it the right manner. And then with the correct answers, then try to understand why the answer is correct. If you notice when I'm doing this, I'm actually explaining to you why the answer is what it is. I'm not just saying that's the answer, move on. I'm actually explaining to you why the answer is. And the explanation I gave to the T-junction one is the answer to this one. And on the day, turn up early. It's 15 minutes before. Don't turn up 15 minutes because you don't want to be stressed and worrying about if you're going to be there on time. And if you get there really early, just go in. Don't stay outside until your appointed time doing mock tests, just in case the mock test scores are poor. It's going to start putting doubts. Just go straight in, say, look, I'm here, blah, blah, blah. If they've got a space to get you in early, they'll get you in early. What some of you guys are doing is turn up nice and early, which is good, but you stay outside and wait your time. And then you're doing mock tests, the mock test scores are poor, and then you start doubting yourself. Going in there. If you ever turn up early to a theory test, go into the centre, introduce yourself. I'm here for my test at X. If they've got space, they will get you in early because no one takes the 4 hour, 20 minutes for the test. So that's my advice for you, but just keep going. On a day, flag up anything you're not sure of, move on and go back to it. Don't stress over it. But I wish you luck with that. Sorry, we're on 18. And A, the common answer, all got a B in there. Right, as you pass or just after the junction, like I said, if you signal too early, it's like you're turning left. So as you go past the junction, you're confirming you're going to pull up on the left. So some of you gone for the B, which is just before you reach the junction. If you do it just before you're turning left, so it's too early, go past the junction so there's no doubt that you're parking up on the left. If you do it just before, they may think you're turning left. What action should you take when you see flashing amber lights under a school warning sign? You're welcome. Thank you for being here. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Hopefully you come back next week. I'm here every Sunday, unless I've got family commitments. Remember, before we sign out, if you've got any questions last minute, type them into the comment section. I'll even deal with your driving questions if you are struggling with your driving. Are you all going for A? All gone for A, yeah. It means school children's out, so it normally comes on before school starts and when school's finishing, so no school kids around, and you reduce your speed just in case. And I think this is the last one, number 20. What's the national speed limit for cars and motorcycles on a dual carriageway? Got a D here as well. I was just about to say most of you are gone for A, but there's a couple of D's popping up. Ooh, 14, that's the wrong one. Okay, that's interesting. You guys are going for A's and D's. Right, my advice here is know what you can do. When I say you, car driver, because you're taking a car theory test, don't let motorcycles come into the equation. What's the national speed limit for cars? That's you. On a dual carriageway. Dual carriageway and motorways are the same thing. It's crash barrier in the middle. That's the definition between a dual carriageway and motorway. It's a crash barrier. So that means the maximum speed is 70. Single carriageway for cars is 60. For lorries and heavy goods vehicles, lorries and heavy goods, same thing. Heavy goods vehicles and towing vehicles, it would be 60 on the dual carriageway and motorways. But I repeat, always know what you can do. And then if they start talking about heavy goods and towing vehicles, just drop it by 10. But don't go into the motorcycle bit. That's can throw you sometimes. So it's always about cars because you're taking a car theory test. So you've got a breakdown. Well, it's a lot of topics. As I said at the beginning, the theory test is made up of 14 different categories. When you do your test, your 50 questions is going to be drawn from those 14 categories. It's going to be different from the person next to you. So on this one, we got attitude, rules of the 1, 2, 3, 10, 11 categories for a 20 question mock test. That's a lot of categories just for a 20 question mock test. But like I said, on your test, it's going to be 14 categories at your 50, but you don't know how your 50 questions is going to be made up. So as I said, the person next to you can have 5 road signs, you may just get 3. And that's the reason why I keep stressing do the categories, because if you get a weak category, if you've got a weak category and you haven't strengthened it, and you got bad luck on the day where they give you 5 questions from your weak category, technically you can have 5 questions already wrong. So you really got 45 to play around with, which is not a lot of breathing space. So that's the reason why I keep saying study the categories, understand it inside out. I'm going to do a hazard perception. So let me just do this. So let me take that down. Hazard perception demonstration in a second. What's your advice on how one should pick a driving instructor? What I would do with that is ask family and friends. First of all, because if your family and friends are taking lessons with their instructor and they can recommend them, you're off to a head start. If you haven't got anyone who's taking driving lessons, then I would Google and just read the reviews on there and go from there. That's my advice on that. Driving instructors isn't for everybody. like I said, you may get on with your driving instructor, you may not, but you're paying for a service. All I'm saying with all of you with driving instructors, if you turn up for your driving lesson and you feel like, boy, this is hard work with this guy or woman, think about changing, or be open and honest with them. Look, say, look, you're making me feel a certain way, and see if they change, because they're supposed to adapt to the individual. When I'm teaching, I adapt to the people I've got next to me. If someone's nervous, I'm adapting to the nervousness. If someone's confident, I'll adapt to the confidence. If someone's rude, I'll just kick them out, because I don't have to. The same way, you don't have to put up with us if we're making you feel a certain way. It's the same way I don't have to put up with a student. I don't take that stupidness. So if someone's rude to me, whatever, we just part company. So I can change students as well if I need to. But my point I'm making is, you need to be comfortable in the car. Driving is nerve-wracking at the best of times. So you want someone who's going to be calm, keep you comfortable, keep you safe, most importantly, and have a laugh and a joke when you mess up. Rather than, you did this right. Have a laugh and a joke about it. It's not the end of the world. Making mistakes on the driving lesson is a good thing, by the way. It's not a bad thing, apart from the obvious mistake is crashing. Making mistakes, stalling, whatever it is, losing control of the car where I've got to grab the wheel or I've got to go for the foot brake. You have a bit of fun with it, because like I said, you're learning to drive. If you know how to drive without making mistakes, you wouldn't be taking driving lessons. Remember, you have to make mistakes to get better. If you don't make mistakes, you don't get better. You stay where you're at. So that's my advice for the driving instructor. Make sure they can make you laugh even when you feel like you want to cry. That's the best advice I can give you, to be honest. Right, so let me get my iPad out first and foremost. Let me just make sure there's no more comments in there first. And then I'll do a demonstration. Am I missing something here? Sorry, I just see these. Wow. Again, you're welcome with that. Again, thank you for turning up and letting me know that you passed. I must have missed a comment somewhere who said, oh, my mistake. What is the speed limit on the motorway? For a car driver, it's 70. Motorways and dual carriageway are the same things, crash barrier in the middle. The difference between a motorway and just in case they ask you the question, what's the difference between a motorway and a dual carriageway? This is on the route test, not the app. It's the right-hand lane. On the motorway, the right-hand lane is only for overtaking. On the dual carriageway, you can overtake and turn right, but the speed limit for a car is the same, 70 miles an hour. You have to nominate that before you go for the test. You can't just book your test and then turn up in the car that's different. So if it's going to be a manual test, you book a manual test. If it's a automatic test, it's an automatic test. You can choose manual or auto for your driving. It's your choice with that. But when you book your driving test, you have to turn up with the car of choice that you chose when you booked the test originally. That's a new way of doing it. I've never heard that before. If it works for you, it works for you. I just never think about using AI to choose a driving instructor. It comes down to personalities. Every instructor is different. Like I said, I know driving instructors who are kind of serious, but they still make the people feel comfortable. I know some instructors have a little bit of fun with it. The same result, you're still going to pass your test with them, but the most important thing, you want it to be a nice journey, not a stressful journey where he or she turns up and you think, there's another driving lesson. You want to be looking forward to your driving lesson. That's what I'm trying to say. You don't want it to be a nightmare. Right, let me just quickly show you this. And again, I've got to fix this. I don't know why it doesn't disappear when I change scenes. Right, this is your driving test report sheet, and you'll get a copy of this pass or fail your driving test. So someone asks me in the comment section, why do they concentrate on the theory and not just the practical? because your theory is box 17, your traffic signs, road markings, traffic lights. We had questions about traffic lights, traffic controllers. Someone talked about the hand signals earlier on. I'm going to learn hand signals before they bought their test, and I said just do it. That's where traffic controllers come in. That's your hand signals and other road users. So that's your theory test right there. So like I said, if you don't know your theory, these are the boxes it's going to get marked in. Remember, you need to recall that information while you're driving. And the driving test changed in November. So you guys are driving on faster roads for a lot longer. Back in November, you may or may not hit faster roads. Now you are definitely going to be doing 40 plus at some point on your driving for a lot longer than it was before. So you're driving at 40 miles now, you need to know what your road markings mean. You need to know what your road signs mean. You need to know what other road users are doing at 40 plus. That's the reason why. And then you turned around and said, someone said about the theory and why you got to pass both at the same time. Theory and hazard perception. Hazard perception is your mirrors. Use of mirrors, box 14, before you signal, before you change direction, and before you change speed. So when you see a problem, so if you go back to the traffic signs, when you see traffic signs, for example, you're supposed to be checking the mirrors, because if the traffic sign says the road narrows, you check your mirrors before slowing down. That's the reason why you need to pass both same time, same day, because you're using that information in the car. And that's why I keep stressing you need this theory side of it for your driving lessons. It's simple. Signals on the theory test though, the hazard perception, you're not doing the signaling, because in the video you can't see the car signaling. So it's always going to be anything that's going to call you to slow down or change direction. So let me just quickly explain what a hazard is now. A hazard is anything that's going to cause you to slow down or change direction. So if you feel that you need to be squeezing the brake in the video, you want to click. If you feel that you're going to be steering around anything or any bikes, cars, bends, for example, you need to click. That's what hazards are. There's two types of hazards on the video. There's potential. It could have been a problem, but wasn't. And there's the developing hazard that did actually turn into a problem. And that's the one they want you to check. So I will do a demonstration. I will say when you go for the real test, they're all CGIs, and obviously you're doing it on a bigger screen as well. This impressed by my advice. I'll tell you why. Because I've been an instructor for years, 30 years to be exact, 31 this year, when we get back to November. And I've seen pupils come thick and fast. I've had pupils come from other instructors and everything else. And I'm night and day between their old instructor and what I am now. And I'm using my own experience, because when I learned to drive again many years ago, before most of you was born in some cases, my instructor was fine. It wasn't an issue. When I trained to become a driving instructor, my driving instructor was horrible. I hated him, to be honest. But I used him as my motivation, because I couldn't change him. Because once you pay for the driving course to become a driving instructor, you're stuck with the instructor. You can't chop and change. I hated him, but I used him as my motivation to pass. I always promised myself, when I passed my driving instructor's exams, I will never make my pupils feel the way he made me feel. And that's the reason why. And I've stuck to that all the years. So I know what you guys are going through in terms of the stress, the panic of seeing it, being there with the students and everything else. But like I said, you can make the pupil feel comfortable, and it should be that way, because driving, like I said, shouldn't be a chore. It should be a kind of a pleasure thing, even though you feel stressed and you feel panicked. And that's one of the reasons why. So I know from experience, but I couldn't change my instructor back then. Unfortunately, I was stuck with that person, because I trained with BSM and they had one instructor for that particular era to teach driving instructors. So I hated his guts, to be fair, but hey, I'm here. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have passed, to be fair, because I used him as motivation. He didn't help me pass. It's just me using him as my motivation to say, you know what, I can prove you wrong, and simple as that. So I fully understand getting someone that fits your personality can be hard. Right, so let me just do these quick comments, and then I will get on to the hazard perception. No, the theory test is 57 minutes long. And obviously you got up to 57 minutes. You can finish the test sooner if you answered all the questions. No one really takes 57 minutes, but you shouldn't take 20, 25, which I've seen the common theme for people failing. They've done it in 20, 25 minutes. Anyway, the question you said 57 minutes for the questions. You got a 3-minute break, but not to get up and walk around. You watch their training video for the hazard perception. My advice, don't watch the video. You should know how to click already before you get in there. You don't want conflict. They're telling you one thing and your brain says, but this is what I do. Don't change anything on the day. And then the hazard perception is about 20 minutes long. Each video lasts for about 14. Each video lasts for 45 seconds to a minute. So the whole test is about 1 hour, 20 minutes, but they're separate bits. So 57 minutes first, 3-minute break, and then you go into the hazard perception. You can do both on your own, questions and hazard perception. Hazard perception is easy once you understand it. The question, and the reason why I say it's easy, once you understand what a hazard is, something to slow down, change direction, it's the same for every video, it's just different hazard. It's the same slowing down or changing direction. When you get questions now, it's different questions. So just because you get one question right doesn't mean you're going to get the second question right. But when you get hazards right, it should be consistent all the way through. And that's why I said the hazard perception is the easiest part of the theory side of it once you understand what hazards are. Yes, you have to do both of them. You have to pass both same day, same time. So you can't go back and just take one of them. And when you go back for the questions, it's a different 50 questions as well. Thank you for joining and announcing yourself. So welcome to you. All right. So I think that's it. Let me do hazard perception. All right, so I'll get rid of this and see, even I use driving test success with my students. So I'll do one real life, one CGI. If you take in real life clips and the scores are kind of low, I keep saying this, the scores doesn't always tally because the videos can be out of sync with the scoring. So don't be too hard on yourself. But when you're doing the CGIs, they're on point. When you go for the real test, they're CGIs. So let me explain how you do want to do this. 2 clicks per problem. So when you see the problem, you click and then you go 1, 2, and then you click again. The reason being, because if the first click was too early, you should get a 5 or a 4 with your second click. What they always say on the videos that they talk about is click early. The earlier you see it, the more marks you're going to get. But what they don't tell you is that if you click too early, you get a 0. It's not about you seeing the hazard, to be fair, it's about you just getting a score. Just get a score, that's all it is. Ideally 3 or more. If you don't get a score but you see the hazard, it's pointless. It's still going to be a 0. So make sure you get a score for the problem that you see, because they all mount up. Even when you get a couple of 2s, couple of 1s, 5s, 4s, a nice 8 on your double will bring it up with that. So real life, let's choose one with no stars, if there is any. Here's one. All right, so I'll do a commentary drive so you know why I'm clicking as well. So looking up ahead of the road, got this hard to see. Clicking for the bend, so I can't see around the bend. When you're watching the video, ideally you want to scan from pavement to pavement. The car is on my side of the road, so it may reduce my speed. I can't see around the bend, so it's always a what if something's around the bend because the van's on the pavement as well. So as I say, when you're watching the roads, watching the video, always look as far ahead as you can see roadworks. That car's coming out to my left, and that black car, I'm going to click again for the black car. Because road signs are on the pavement when you're driving in real life. They're not in front of you, they're on the pavement. It says slow on the floor, but it's a straight line, so I don't need to check my mirrors. 4 out of 5, so I've missed 1 mark somewhere along the line. For the sake of the video, just speed it up. So there you go, look. For the first car coming out, there's my first click, and there's my second click for the car. And then another car comes out, so it's a different problem. So that's why I clicked again. I didn't use the same click for both cars, otherwise I'd have got a 0. So there's my first click for the second car, and there's my second click. So the first one was a 4, and the second one looks like it's a 1. They'll always give you the highest mark, so there's no benefit in clicking once per problem. Always click 2 per problem. 2 cars, 4 clicks. That's the reason why. What most of you would have done was see the first car coming out if you saw it, and then click. And if you're doing the 2 click method, click again, but you wouldn't have clicked for the second car, which means now you've got a 0. I repeat, it's not about you seeing a hazard, it's about you getting a score. That's all that matters. Let me just see if there's any comments on there first. You guys seem to be happy with that. I don't see any questions on there. Right, so let's do a real CGI. Don't know why it came out of that. Again, she's all with no stars. Let's choose this one. Right, again, scanning from pavement to pavement in between the cars. Just in case someone steps out. This is really slow. I don't see anything to be clicking on. I'm literally scanning from pavement to pavement. I'm looking behind that white van and that road to my left. Well, there's people there, so I'm going to click on that. So we lay across behind the van. I'm going to click again. So that should be the one I've got marked for, but I keep going because, like I said, it could be a double. There's a bend, I can't see around the bend, so it's always what if something is around the bend. Clear road, 4 out of 5. So let's take a look again for the sake of the video, speed it up. It's always scanning from left to right, right to left. So I saw the people just there. That's why you want to scan from left to right. If you're just looking straight, what we call tunnel vision, you don't see them until late. So there's my first click. There's my second click. And now they've come in front of me. So just click again, 2 different problems, even though it's the same people. So I've got 4 clicks in that space, and I still got scored 4 out of 5, got the highest mark. I repeat, there's no benefit in clicking once, lots of benefits in clicking twice. So hopefully that makes
approach the bend ahead.
Sense. It does, because there's no comments. So I'm assuming you guys are happy with that. So let's just take a look at this. I've done that one already. What's your advice? Should pick a driving instructor. All right, there's no other comments in there. Or am I missing something? Let me just make sure. When do you... Sorry, let me change that. When do you know there is a double hazard in the video, or is it? There isn't. You don't know. It's just like driving in real life. You don't know when someone's going to pull out in front of you. That's what they're trying to train you, is for you to check your mirrors. So you're driving in real life, someone's pulled out, you check your mirrors. Traffic lights are going to red, you check your mirrors because you're going to be slowing down. You don't know when something's going to happen. So all they're trying to train you is to check your mirrors nice and early, because the brain is designed to protect you. If you see something really late, you will not check your mirrors. The brain's not designed to do that. It's just going to go for the brake to keep you safe. But just because you're stopping doesn't mean that the person behind will, so they may go into the back of you. So all they're saying is see early, check your mirrors, and then you've got more time to deal with it. And the earlier you see the problem, talking about real life now, the earlier you see the problem on your driving lessons, the calmer you are, because you know it's coming. It's when you see things late, you panic, and that's when the stress happens. If you can see it coming, there's no reason why to panic. So you don't know which one's a double, you just keep clicking on the videos for any hazards that are real, and then it takes care of itself. Are these, sorry, let me just do this. Are these the same video? No. They're not similar. Like I said to you guys with the apps, the questions are sampled questions. The videos are sampled videos. They're not going to show you the same videos for the same reason why they don't give you the questions, because you'll memorize where the hazards are. So it's different set of hazards. But I repeat, the hazard perception, once you know what a problem is, somebody's going to call you to slow down or change direction. A video's a video, it's the same. It's like tying your trainers. If you tie your trainers on a Nike, it's the same. You tie your trainers on an Adidas, it's the same. You tie your trainers on the shoes, it's the same tying. It's just different shoes. That's all it is. The videos are the same. Hazard is a hazard, doesn't change. Best variant hazard perception. I don't know what's the best. I'm going to just say to the one that I use and recommend with my students, which is the driving test success 4-in-1. I just think the interface is brilliant. They're starting to put driving stuff in there now as well, so you can actually use it beyond your theory as well. But like I said, I'm not saying it's the best, but it's the one I recommend to my students. As you saw, it's the one I actually use. And when I'm doing my mock test video, which I've got one coming out on Wednesday on YouTube, so look out for that one. I've got a 50 question mock test coming out on Wednesday. It's actually, I use a desktop version of it to film my videos, so I use it. This is driving test success that you see here. Let me just quickly show you. This is driving test success. Let me get rid of that. Look, driving test success. Like I said, I recommend stuff that I use as well. Do you know what I mean? So I don't give you guys false information with that. No problem. You're welcome. Kmart, you keep typing the same thing. I've already shown it, but I'll do it again for you, because you keep typing the same messages. I've already wished you luck with that. Well done. And everything else. I'll leave it there for a little while because obviously you must have missed it. There you go. For a trainee driving instructor, you want to become a driving instructor. The question is why? It's a crazy profession. Driving to success doesn't change. Go to the settings and change it to driving instructor question, ADI questions. Sorry, not driving instructor questions. ADI questions. So go to the settings and change it, because your categories, your theory test is different. Your test is a lot harder. Yeah, it's a lot harder. And the reason why, because you have to have that knowledge to pass it on to your students. So I believe it is 100 questions still, and you need 85%. It's 4 bands. You've got A, B, C, D band, and you need to average 85 in all of them. So you can actually get more than 85 overall, but still fail the test. So you have to get a minimum 85 in each category of A, B, C, D. But it's 100 questions. So just change the app, go in the settings and just change the ADI questions. It's the same. That you can do on your own. The driving side of it you can't do on your own, and the instructor side of it you can't do on your own. You're gonna have to find a driving school to sponsor you, or a driving instructor who's willing to teach you the part 2 and part 3. But I wish you luck with that. But it's a crazy profession at this point in time. But I've been in it so long, I love it. But to come into it, I don't know if I would do that again if I was younger. Not to say don't do it, but yeah, it's crazy. But it's good fun though as well. That's the thing about it. For me anyway, I enjoy it. Any other questions? Do you not recommend becoming an instructor? No, don't get me wrong. You got to have the right mentality. I'm not saying don't become a crazy profession. If you get in, it's great fun. But it's just crazy. Like I said, it's not just the students that you got to keep safe. It's other people on the road you got to keep safe from themselves, because there's crazy drivers out there, and L plates to other drivers is a red flag to a bull. So people will take the mickey with your learner, and that's what I'm trying to say. Well, I'm saying crazy. Not the pupils are crazy. The other people, how they react to learners and deal with learners. So if you can overcome that and keep calm, then yeah, it's a great profession. But that's what I mean about crazy. With students, you meet different students. It's great fun having them. So yeah, I love it. But I would recommend it if you got the right mentality to overcome other people's attitude, because you can't scream and shout at other people outside the car, because it doesn't reflect in the right manner with your student, because you're trying to keep them calm. If you're frustrated and heated, it comes over to your student, which doesn't help. Right, any last questions before we sign out? Another enjoyable live session. I really enjoyed that. I'll give you a couple more seconds to see if you guys want to type in any questions. Outside of that, what do white diagonal stripe markings in the middle of the road mean? They're hatch markings. They separate the traffic going up and down. And the other question that goes with that is, can you go in there? The answer is yes, if it's safe and necessary. So the diagonal lines in the middle of the road are called hatch markings. That's where you position yourself to turn right if you're turning right on them. But let's separate the traffic, keep it protected. Yeah, for those of you who got a theory test this week, I wish you the best of luck with that. Let us know how you got on by coming back next week. For those of you studying this week, while you're studying, write down any questions that you may have, any concerns, similar to this one. Diagonal lines, any lines, traffic lights, whatever it is, bring it along. The live is about you asking, and I can answer it to you personally rather than me just doing a generic answer or a generic video. You always want answers tailored to you. Stopping distance they stopped doing all that 30, 40 plus, blah, blah, blah. But what you do need to know is that driving at 40 miles an hour or more. When it's dry, 2-second gap. When it's wet, 4 seconds, or double. Ice and snow up to 10 times longer. You do need to know that side of it, but the detailed ones that they used to, they've got rid of it. Right, so I'm going to sign out. So like I said, if you've got any questions, feel free to jot them down while you're studying. Bring it in next week. Let's have a conversation. You are welcome. I'm glad you had fun. Yeah, look, you guys make it. Because if you wasn't here, there isn't a live session to be had. But like I said, enjoy your week. Most importantly, stay safe. Because I know that's massive. Stay safe, look after yourself, and I will catch you next week. Take care.